The moment my wife said, "I'm leaving you," I thought my world had just collapsed. She stood in the middle of our living room with a suitcase beside her, her face cold and strangely confident. "I've made my decision," she said. "I don't love you anymore." I stared at her, waiting for the tears to come. They didn't. For the first time in 12 years of marriage, I realized something inside me had gone completely quiet. "Is there someone else?" I finally asked. She looked away. That silence was answer enough. I had suspected it for months. The late-night messages, the sudden passwords on her phone, the extra meetings that somehow always happened on Friday nights. And whenever I asked questions, she made me feel like I was the problem. "You deserve someone better," she said. I almost laughed, not because it was funny, because I suddenly understood. She wasn't leaving because I had failed her. She was leaving because she had already found someone she thought was better. "Who is he?" I asked. She picked up her suitcase. "It doesn't matter anymore." "It matters to me." She finally looked at me. "His name is Daniel." My stomach dropped. Daniel was her coworker. The same Daniel she had told me was just a friend. The same Daniel who had started appearing in conversations more often than I was comfortable with. I nodded slowly. "So this is what you want?" "Yes." "You're sure?" She smiled. "I've never been more sure." I looked at her for several seconds. Then I said something she clearly wasn't expecting. "Okay." Her smile disappeared. "Okay? Yes, if you want to leave, I won't stop you." She looked confused. Maybe she expected me to beg. Maybe she expected me to cry, scream, or promise to change. Instead, I walked toward the hallway and picked up a small folder from the drawer. She watched me carefully. "What's that?" "You'll see." I placed the folder on the table. For months I had known something was wrong, but I hadn't confronted her because I wanted the truth, not another argument. I had hired a private investigator. The folder contained photographs, hotel receipts, restaurant bills, and screenshots of messages between my wife and Daniel. Hundreds of them. Her face slowly changed as she looked through the pages. I can explain." "You don't have to." She froze. "You already decided to leave me." Her hands began shaking. "I was confused." "No," I said quietly. "You were cheating." She looked at the evidence again. Then she whispered, "How long have you known?" "3 months." Her eyes filled with tears. "Then why didn't you say anything?" "Because I wanted to know whether you would choose honesty when you had the chance." She looked down. "And you didn't." For the first time that night, she started crying. "I made a mistake." I shook my head. "A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is saying something cruel during an argument. You made hundreds of choices." She wiped her tears. "What are you going to do now?" I took a deep breath. "I'm leaving too." Her eyes widened. "What?" "I already moved my things into an apartment last week." She stared at me in disbelief. "You planned this?" "No, I prepared for the truth." She stepped closer. "Please, we can fix this." I looked at the woman I had loved for 12 years. A part of me still wanted to believe her. But love couldn't survive where respect had already died. "You said you were leaving me," I reminded her. "So I'm letting you go." She began sobbing. "But where will I go?" I looked at her suitcase. "Daniel." She went completely silent. Then her phone suddenly buzzed. A message appeared on the screen. "Daniel. So, did you finally leave him?" "I can't keep waiting forever." She stared at it. I didn't need to say another word. She had risked our marriage for a man who was already impatient with her. She looked at me with tears running down her face. "I'm sorry." I opened the front door. "I know." She stepped outside, then turned around one last time. "Do you really not love me anymore?" I paused. "I do." She looked hopeful. Then I finished. "But I love myself enough to walk away." Her lips parted, but no words came out. For once, my wife was completely speechless. I closed the door, and for the first time in months, I could finally breathe.